Your home is an investment, but dozens of families in one neighborhood are dealing with an expensive problem. Records show their foundations are failing and their homes are cracking on the inside.
KXAN investigator Kelly Wiley explores reasons this could be happening and helps you avoid the problems.
Last fall, our Investigates team started to get emails from homeowners in a South Austin neighborhood. Message after message would detail persistent foundation issues, cracking in their walls, driveways, and frustrated homeowners. Like Maria Lopez, an elementary school custodian.
My name is Maria Lopez.
Who bought a brand new home in Bradshaw Crossing in 2016. She says shortly after, she noticed problems, and she showed us cracks in the corners of her walls. In 2020, Lennar sent engineers to inspect Lopez's home. They took pictures of the cracks in her walls, gaps in her driveway, but concluded her concerns were cosmetic and not structurally a problem. Lopez says after, the cracking got worse and called again, insisting Lennar take another look. A year later, Lennar sent engineers back out. This time, they found Lopez's home did need repair, and they recommended the developer lift her home 3 inches above the clays they were built on.
My hair is falling as I think about them not listening to me and them telling me, it's normal, it's normal. What was I supposed to do?
From my standpoint, it's been really frustrating having to help her. A lot of it because of the language barrier.
Lennar has built hundreds of homes in Bradshaw Crossing. We wanted to know how many of the homes had foundation problems. So we searched city records. In the city records going back to 2010, we found nearly 50 permits to do foundation repair work in the neighborhood. And more homeowners there have emailed us saying they're trying to do the same. We also discovered in that same time frame, at least 3 families have sued Lennar over foundation problems in Bradshaw Crossing. In 2 of the lawsuits, families alleged Lennar was negligent in building their foundations and failed to honor their warranties. One of the cases was ordered to arbitration, while another is still playing out in the court system. Another family said they started to have plumbing issues as a result of foundation issues 4 years after buying their new home. That family dropped the case in 2011 after Lennar agreed to pay them a settlement and fix the issues with their home. We learned some homeowners are hesitant to even use the legal system, fearing the costs involved.
So we have the driveway here, which has been badly damaged.
Like Nick Brudowski, an Air Force reservist.
There's a big shift in the yard.
He bought his home in Bradshaw Crossing in 2014.
Tops there are for the water lines that go into the sprinkler systems. Those snapped as well. So we get large fissures in the home that about 1/2 inch to 1 inch in width. I've had these on all sides of the house.
Records show the homes do have a 10-year structural warranty, which includes the foundation. But if the company won't fix the problem, homeowners' only other option in Lennar's contract is going through mediation and arbitration process, something Brudowski didn't want to do.
You'll see the crack.
So he's been trying to fix issues himself.
I was afraid to pay money to initiate an arbitration process and then not get anything out of it.
We tried repeatedly to get the regional president of Lennar, who oversees the building and sale of homes throughout Texas, to sit down with us for an interview. But in an emailed statement, the company's communication director denied our request and said they don't comment on pending litigation. They also said they've built thousands of homes in Austin, and they stand behind all of them, including those in Bradshaw Crossing. They said they'd repair any home that does not meet the commitment they made to buyers. The main question homeowners still have is why are these problems happening in multiple homes in one development?
My name is Jorge Zornberg, and I'm a geotechnical engineering professor.
Zornberg has not studied Bradshaw Crossing, but helped us understand what can cause these issues. He explains how soils excessively absorbing water under a home can cause its foundation to lift and settle unevenly. So it's critical the soil is treated properly and the foundation designed correctly.
The problem with foundation design is that no one sees it. You do not see it until you have a problem. But if you have a problem, then your door is not going to open. and your house is going to crack, and the windows are not going to be able to open.
A number of things can happen to houses. It's not just an aesthetic problem.
Nicholas Bressi is an Austin attorney who sued Lennar and other national builders over foundation issues. He believes the problems homeowners are experiencing in Bradshaw Crossing are not unique to Lennar.
The problem with tract builders or someone coming into building 100, 200 homes in the neighborhood is they're not going to do 200 soil tests. They typically do a pattern of random sampling throughout the 200 tract areas, which may include 50 samples. So, for example, we looked at one earlier. If you're building 200 homes and you're only doing 50 samples, it is Russian roulette what you're building on.
We don't know how many tests happened in Bradshaw Crossing, and here's why. We discovered the soil evaluations for subdivisions before they're developed are not public record in Texas. The city of Austin and the state don't require home builders to submit the results of their tests. Lennar did not answer our request to see those records.
The government is relying on the private sector to police itself, to build things properly.
It's frustrating more than anything. It's heartbreaking to see the community have to deal with these issues.
So what can you do to protect yourself and your investment? First, ask your developer to test the soil on your lot specifically, not a nearby lot. If you're buying an already built home, ask to see the soil evaluations and have the foundation inspected. Next, if you're noticing cracks or other deficiencies in your home, send a written notice to the developer, whether it be a letter sent through certified mail or an email. Also, take pictures of the defects and make a claim under your warranty as soon as you notice those issues. Kelly Wiley, KXAN Investigates.
Thank you, Kelly. We'll have more tomorrow after the Olympics as we take another closer look at the shuttered Texas agency that once oversaw home builders in the state of Texas.
And why a former member of the Texas Residential Construction Commission says this industry still needs oversight. Until then, go online where we have aerial videos of the development in Kelly's report and a lot more, including a closer look at those tips for home buyers that she was mentioning. They're all in this story in the investigative section of KXAN.com. This story started with a viewer tip. If you're having concerns with your home, email us at reportit@KXAN.com.